Hi, and welcome to Three Questions With. Today, my guest is Nehcole Felix from Felix Consulting. Hey, Nehcole, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me, Kevin. It's always nice to talk with you.
So, Nehcole, I want to ask you a few questions. What do you feel are the mistakes owners make when running their business, and how can they address it?
Yeah, in just like my recent project history and something that I noticed kind of overall is that owners sometimes neglect to do proper training or to explicitly transfer their mission or their philosophy to their employees, which can be a huge hole for employees when they're trying to be proactive and they don't know exactly how or what to do. A way that any business owner can address what I call employee buy-in is through thorough documentation of their mission, their roles, responsibilities, policies, and their philosophy as well. They need to be able to answer questions for their employees, like, why are we here? What is my job supposed to be? What are my roles and responsibilities? What are the rules that I have to follow in order to work here? So I think another thing to look at it in a different way from an owner's perspective is to say, if you ever want to make improvements, changes, whether they're tactical day-to-day changes or they're this big, broad, strategic changes, they need to be, and they're going to be, whether good or bad, supported by your staff. So wouldn't it be great if you had a knowledgeable and empowered staff to support the changes, to support your future?
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. As we were joking a little bit before the show, back in my banking days, we didn't do a great job documenting. So, I'd be like, hey, we need to do this. And you guys would all smile at me and be like, what? Like, well, Nehcole did that, but she doesn't work here anymore. I'm like, so no one knows how to do this. Well, no, Nehcole always did it. And so we had to go through that. Well, guys, we have to document everything. And also to explaining people, like you said, what are their roles and responsibilities? What is expected of them? Sometimes we make the mistake as business owners going, well, what do you mean you don't know that you got to show up on time, Nehcole? Like, well, there's no policy saying, I have to be here at 9 o'clock. I know that's what is kind of accepted, but there's nothing saying that. And I can remember so many times something would happen and you pause going, okay, what's in the policy? And you read the policy and it's like, never mentioned. Well, all right, so we failed on that policy. Let's start over and stuff. So you got to see that all the time in your training, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I see business owners who feel hamstrung by staff that are not performing and they don't know why. And it's just kind of like, because you didn't tell them what to do or what to feel, what to expect.
Yeah. Like I said, that whole culture thing really makes a big difference in finding people that fit it. Because there's times when you find that really whiz-bang, incredibly smart person, but they don't fit your culture.
Yeah.
You're like, I really want Nehcole, but I know if I bring her in, I'm going to pay for this because she just doesn't.
Exactly. And if you don't set their expectations that this is what we expect, then how can you hold them accountable? How can you say, oh, you're not a good fit, you got to go, when you didn't tell them that what's fit, know? Yeah.
So how do you work with your clients? How do you help them with this problem?
Yeah. So when we talk about training, I don't just kind of dive into the tactical day-to-day. I really step back and I look at, what's your mission statement? What's your statement of purpose? What did you say your goal was when you started the company? Are you working towards that goal in your day-to-day operations? Were your employees, like I said, explicitly aware of your mission or your philosophy, and are they carrying that out in their day-to-day? If yes, then we can focus on process improvement and continuous learning. We have the freedom and creativity to say, what would be cool for our employees to learn to make them better? Isn't that such a great place to be, where you can just be like, hey, let's take this weird little thing that's not part of our core business, but would make you so much more knowledgeable about our competition, about this or that. So when you're working towards your mission and you really just want to continuously learn and get better, that's awesome. If no, your business is not working towards your mission, at that point, we just kind of stop and reevaluate. Just like I said previously, you have to now start answering questions. Why are we here doing what we do? What is an employee's purpose when they're here? Are the processes that we have allowing people to carry out their jobs? Are the employees empowered to do their jobs effectively? If not, why? Right? Then at that point, once we've talked about a lot of things that we need to talk about how we feel and what we want people to see and believe about our business, then we go through an exercise of walking through the day-to-day operations and assigning accountability for tasks, understanding the tools that are necessary to operate the business, looking at the processes that are currently available and saying, is this ideal? So again, for a business owner, this can be really exciting. We're talking about employee training and supporting your staff, but at the same time, as you start doing that, you have the opportunity for process improvement as you're building your training. So you're saying, okay, I could write this down, but everyone's mad about this all the time. Why am I going to write it down? Let's hit it right now, make it better, and then document something that's going to be good for our future.
Absolutely. And then we go and have growing pains. I say this all the time. We have all this in place, and then the company starts growing really fast, and all those processes you built, you're like, well, we can't do it that way anymore.
Right.
You know, we need to figure out a quicker, a better way to do this, or we're going to have to start growing staff, which may or may not always be feasible and stuff. So, and you said it's accepting that things have changed over time too.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes the mission changes as the company grows, so you got to be ready for that. So
how can you work better together
at the end of all of this then?
Absolutely. So what was that? Sorry.
So what should a company expect after you do all this process, you sit down, you talk about things, what happens next?
Yeah. So after all the talking and the documentation and the ideating and all that, a business owner should have a comprehensive training program with supporting documentation, whether that's training modules, manuals, handbooks, things like that. Also, once we get the deliverable, we've chosen somebody through the process who is going to be accountable for the training. What's the point of doing all the training if you don't have one person or two people, whatever, but a person who's going to deliver the materials, deliver the training, schedule it, make sure that you're following up and that people are understanding. So we don't just go through the process of writing stuff down. We need to also bring it kind of forward and make sure that it's actually getting done. Another thing, if the owner or the manager is so inclined, is that they may have a new employee review process. And I think that is one of the best ways to keep employees engaged and accountable, giving them the opportunity to develop their goals along with you, having the forum to kind of voice their opinion, but then also get feedback from their managers. And if they want to be that manager, now you're creating a work path for them where they're saying, I know I need to do all these things to be this guy. Am I doing them? And I'm getting the feedback from the guy doing it, right? So it allows people to feel more engaged and also track towards their future goals. So that's also something that an owner or a manager can decide that they want to do. But ultimately at the end, you have a comprehensive training program where you're soliciting that employee buy-in. You're saying, hey, look at how much we've invested time, money, whatever, into your growth. Are you on board? Yes? Okay. Now we're instilling accountability into you that we have to now live up to these goals that we've set for ourselves. And now you can also start rewarding people who are tracking towards those goals. And in the same vein, but on the other side of the coin, you know what your pathway is to discipline as well. You've built out policies for it. You're not hamstrung, like we were saying before, by employees that you never set their expectations. So now how do I fire them? Or how do I get them on probation? How do I correct this behavior when I never had a policy or a path for that before? So employee training can be really specific, but I feel like if you're doing it right, if you're looking at it in the right way, it can really be a great foundational tool for your business to grow.
And as you mentioned, you need that buy-in from ownership management. I can remember so many times it's audit season, going, the auditors coming in like, hey, we better do that training that we said we're doing every year. And then you have like 6 trainings in a row, every day there'd be a new training. Because you're like,
and no one's keeping that because you're just overloading, you're getting the fire hose of information.
Sure, so like I said, if you're gonna invest the time in developing the procedures, you gotta actually follow through with them. And sometimes that's, again, you get busy, like, oh yeah, we didn't do our annual training on this and stuff. So Nehcole, how can people reach out to you? How can they learn more?
Yeah, you can reach out to me at Felix Consulting Co. That's felixconsultingco.com. Also, I have a Facebook page, Felix Consulting Co. And yeah, reach out, let me know what you need, and we'll talk about it and guide you to your successful future.
Because I think one of the advantages, in sitting down with you is just having someone to talk to. Because as an owner, a manager, you really can't have this discussion with your employees. You know what? They're just not performing the way I need them to. So
Right.
just sitting down and having a consult to say, okay, what are the challenges you're facing? And sometimes you realize, that you may think, the problem's A, and you find out it's a lot further down the alphabet.
Absolutely.
By
Absolutely.
bringing in that third set of eyes, saying, hey, let's take a look at this as an outsider, with your experience and go, okay, you may not have seen this, but this is what's really happening. I've seen that many times and people are just floored. Like, what do you mean? I didn't even know that was an issue. And you're like, it's been an issue for a long time and it's hurting your company. So
but you're not focused on the right things, right? You're looking at it as like, why aren't they doing well? And it's like, why aren't we doing well?
Right, yeah. So one more time, describe your contact before I let you run, Nehcole.
Yeah, felixconsultingco.com, or you can reach out at Nehcole, Nehcole, at felixconsultingco.com.
Nehcole, really appreciate you taking a few minutes to jump on the show.
Likewise, Kevin. Always nice to talk to you.
You just watched 3 Questions With, brought to you by the New England B2B Networking Group. For more information, visit the website at newenglandb2bnetworking.com.